I'm Tom from Do It Yourself Home Automation, and this is a review of the Tangkula Large Chicken Coop. So I'm using this with my backyard chickens, and I'm going to show everything about how I got it set up and give my impressions. I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and I think it's a really good product. So this is the Tangkula. They have a lot of different models. This is called the Large Chicken Coop. I start off by saying I wouldn't say that it's particularly large. I think you could probably put 2 or maybe 3 hens in here, but I wouldn't necessarily go above that unless you have a lot of outdoor space for a run. So that's the first thing I'd say right off the bat. It works great for Anna and Elsa in here, especially as they get a little bit bigger. I think they'll be totally fine in this space, but to call it large isn't exactly accurate. But getting that right off the bat, I think otherwise there's a lot of great things to say about this. You can get it on Amazon. It was available for me with Prime shipping, so it was free shipping. It was about $230 on there. So it's not super cheap, but it's certainly not as expensive as some of the other ones you can get out there. And basically what you're getting, this is about, I'd say about 5.5 feet long. It's almost exactly 2 feet wide, and you can see it's got multiple levels to it. So it's about, I think about 4 feet tall, 3.5, 4 feet tall. And it's made out of wood. I think it's fir wood, so it's probably pretty robust if you want to have it outdoors. When you first get it, it does have a very strong smell to it, so just be aware of that. That for me has faded with time, so if you get it out of the box and it smells really strongly, don't worry, it does, in my experience, fade away. So what are you getting here? There's multiple levels to this coop. The bottom level down here is actually got, underneath my shavings here, I've got a mesh floor, and you can decide whether you want to include that or not. It's these 2 units. So if you wanted to put this outdoors and move it around, for example, and have it right on the ground or on grass, use it like a tractor, you could take those floor panels out. They're optional, and it would sit right on the ground, and that provides some good opportunities to scratch around and that kind of thing. But you can see it's fairly spacious for a 2 or 3 bird coop. I'll go in here and you can see their perspective. I've got their perch over there. We've got our water in the corner. This is a 2-gallon Rent-A-Coop waterer, and you can see that it fits in there pretty well. Blocks their access a little bit, but they don't seem to have any trouble with it. So that's the bottom part. Pretty spacious, pretty nice setup in there. It's got this nice, pretty strong wire, and it's well connected into the wood. So I think even if you had this outside, it would do a reasonably good job of protecting against predators. As you can see down here, I've got the door, so it's a locking door. I'd probably want to install a better lock on this if I was going to have this outside, but the door itself is flush and fits pretty well in there. And then in terms of the overall design, up here you've got almost like a shingle roof, so this should shed water pretty well. And then this is nice. It has this plastic roof cover. I've got this on backwards. This should go down at the bottom to drain water out, but I'm using it indoors, so it doesn't really matter. But you get some sunlight coming through here, illuminating the inside while also still shedding water if you're using this outside in a rainy climate. The top part here is the nesting box, or a little enclosed space. I still haven't managed to peel all of the plastic off of these windows. It's a little bit challenging. I'll get a razor blade out to do that, but it's nice how you get a little window and you can peek in and see how things are going, and also get a little bit more light in there. And then this opens as well. Again, probably want to put a better lock on, and then this can become a nesting box or just an indoors kind of space that they can hang out. And you can see from the pattern of how the shavings have been moved around here that my birds like to come up here and nest and hang out and basically perch instead of on their perch down here at night. They like to hang out up here at the top of the ramp, where they're a little bit more enclosed, which is typical. They like to go to the highest space that they have available a lot of the time. This top piece actually pulls out, so you can pull out this tray and clean it. They don't hang out up there a lot for me, but I think it's a nice extra feature. And what I usually do is pull the tray out part way, and then I actually just push the shavings down the side there, and they end up down at the bottom when I'm ready to clean this out. And clean out has been pretty easy, honestly. It's not that heavy. So usually I just do exactly what I described. I pull that tray out, I push the shavings down into the bottom, and then I just literally, I haven't screwed the bottom panels on, so I literally just lift the whole thing up, move it over. I take these Chuck's pads and fold everything up, I take the panels out from the bottom, obviously, first. You can spray those down with a hose. Take the Chuck's pads, kind of bundle up all of the shavings, throw that away, put the panels back in, and you're good to go. I can show that in another video, but yeah, again, clean out has been relatively easy to do. They're not laying yet, they're a little bit young, but when they are, I think this will be a good space. It's a little bit big, honestly. I might have to put another kind of smaller container in here. And there's this little wire rack. I'm not sure exactly what that's for. Maybe you could put a water bottle up there or a light or something. Not sure exactly what the intention is there. If anybody has used that for something or knows, feel free to let me know. Again, pretty nice construction in terms of the door here. So I can close that off. You know, I think overall the assembly of this was pretty straightforward. I found that when I got the actual item in the mail, it was in one big box, flat packed, and it was not, didn't have the instructions for assembly in there. So I actually reached out to the company on Amazon, and I got a response within maybe 4 or 5 hours sending me the manual and apologizing. So it was really easy to get through to them. The manual is pretty straightforward. I've heard people have had, you know, their 10 or 15-year-old assemble this. Obviously you want to supervise, but basically it comes flat packed. It has screws. It shows pretty easily how to put everything together. And the wood is soft enough that you can use a hand screwdriver, but certainly if you have a drill with a screwdriver bit, it goes a lot faster. And it was super easy, I found, to put together. Kind of a refreshing thing, actually. I wasn't expecting. I thought I was going to just struggle with it. But it had all the right pieces, extra screws, and everything went together pretty readily. And since you are spending a little bit more on it versus what you would spend on just building something out of plywood, I think it's appropriate that it's easier to put together. Again, you know, I haven't used it outdoors, but I'm pretty comfortable with the level of protection you're getting here. If my dogs come out to the garage, they're interested, but they certainly couldn't get in, which is good to see. And the ramp in here to be able to access the top part, it does tend to get dirty, and it's screwed in, so it's a little bit harder to clean off. I would just unscrew it periodically and then blast it down with a hose so that you make sure that it's sanitary. But other than that, it's really the only kind of sticking point in terms of cleaning on the inside here. I find my birds like to hang out down here during the day. I keep the door open sometimes so they can get some air in here, get a little sunlight, and then obviously you can open here and they're able to walk out into an outdoor run. I wouldn't keep them in here all the time. I think it's a little too small. They do need access to the outside. But in terms of a nice coop for indoors in the garage, this actually works great. You know, overall, I think really good value for the money. I was pleased with the quality. I didn't really know what to expect. Got pretty good reviews on Amazon, and again, for about $230, you don't know exactly. I think the only thing I would say is that if you're looking for this to be for a large flock, it's not going to cut it for that. It definitely is a small coop. So if you want, you know, 2 or 3 birds, this is probably a perfect size, but you may need to upgrade as you add to the size of your flock. And they seem totally happy in this small space as long as they have an opportunity to run around and exercise, like I've shown in other videos, and an ability to get outside. Yeah, overall good construction. Ease of assembly is pretty good. I'll see how they handle it once they start to need the nest box up here. But the Tangkula Large Coop I find is a good option. I think it would also work well for other small animals. They advertise it also being used as a rabbit hutch. I think it would make a great rabbit hutch. You'd just have to make sure that your bunnies could get up the ramp. My ladies here have no problem with that, but I'm not sure. I haven't had a rabbit in a long time. But you know, overall, I think really good. I'm gonna look into painting it too. It comes with this sort of paint and stain almost to the wood, which gives it this nice kind of a gray color, very modern look. But if you want like a traditional barn look with a red, I'm gonna look into actually painting it a different color to see how that ends up coming out. $229, you can get it on Amazon, and mine arrived in about a week and a half, I think, with free shipping. If you found this helpful in any way, please subscribe to my channel, it really helps.